All right, so first video, probably something that y'all don't want to do. So my plan was to make a map like this for a friend of mine for a housewarming gift because we're all into fantasy and that kind of stuff. So I really wanted to do a good job with this particular piece. So after I printed this out and laminated it, I got me an 8.5 by 11 sheet of veg tan from my local hobby store, and from there I cased it really well, let it dry a little bit, and then started to trace in this map onto this piece of leather. Everything was going great, very cool. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to emphasize the mountain. I'm sorry if it's glaring, but the mountain I wanted to really emphasize here, the compass, and then the border around, even with this little bit of river that's a little bit heavier on the map itself. So after I did that, I tooled that in. After I tooled it, I beveled it, and then from there I wanted to use my pyrography kit and basically have a very thin, detailed view of the letters on the map along with the runes and all the other stuff, just to make it look really, really cool. At that point, after doing all that stuff, it worked really well. I would say that the pyrography kit did wonders. I had to play with it a little bit to get the right temperature on it, and maybe you might have to do that as well if you get into this kind of stuff. But what I did was I wanted to color the map a little bit, but I didn't want it to take on so much color that it just washed out everything. So what I did was, after tooling and beveling and using the pyrography kit on here, I was really happy with the results. But in doing all that, I wanted to make sure it didn't get discolored too bad, so I put about 8 coats of leather sheen on it, and I got the leather sheen from Weaver. After putting the coats of leather sheen on it, I'm like, okay, I think, and I've done this with other projects, I think it's going to not take on so much of the antique that I wanted to put on it. So I went ahead and I antiqued it, and it looked really good. Like, the mountain looks really good, the compass I think looks good, the rivers look good, but what the antique did, I'm not sure if you can pick that up or not, but the antique really washed out a lot of the text on the map, and I really didn't want that. So I'm asking in forums online, on Facebook and stuff, like, what could I do to make the words on the map stuff re-pop after I've screwed this up? So what I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to try to reuse the pyrography kit after the antiquing, after putting some leather balm on it and that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to see if the heat from the pyrography kit is going to make this look better, because right now you can't hardly read the words at all, which is really unfortunate, because that's part of the coolness of the map, is the fantasy lettering and that kind of stuff on there. So I'm gonna put on my old man glasses here so I can actually see what I'm doing a little bit better, and I'm gonna try to I guess re-burn in some of this darker look that I wanted on this map originally. So I'm going to start small with like some of the grass down here in the bottom part of the map, which you can see here. I'm not going to touch this to the plastic, but you can see like some of the darker little bits of grass down here in the bottom right. So I'm going to give that a shot and see what happens. It might ruin the whole thing. If it does, I'm learning, so I will start over if I need to. I'm cool with that, but let's just kind of see what we get here as we're going to reburn this in after finishing everything. So it's actually looking less dark, and it's looking a bit more light colored, which it's actually... Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the look I want or not. So it actually looks like the pyrography kit is burning off some of the finish. And I'll just show you here on my kit, there's the start, and I've got it, it says for leather, it's the light color or the next color. I've got it about in the middle of the, I guess, second setting on here. So that's about where I saw that it was making marks pretty decently on here. Yeah, so far, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure about this yet. So also, when I did antique this, I'm sure some of the antiquing got down inside the lettering, inside some of the lettering, but not all of it. So again, not sure if this is the right look I want to go for or not. But when I'm done, I'll take a picture of this again and show everybody what this looks like. But I'm not convinced that this is the look I want for this. But I'm still going to keep going. Still going to learn. Still going to try this and see exactly how it looks. I can definitely smell the heat coming up off his gun too. It's not really a gun, but you know what I mean. Pyrography kit. That's a hard word to say. Okay, so I got the grass here a little bit. You probably can't see that too well in the shot, but it's a little bit lighter colored than everything, and I think that's because of the fact that the antique colored brought out the natural blemishes in the leather piece itself, and as I'm burning this in, it's actually going lower than what the antique picked up. So yeah, we're just going to keep going. I'm going to try this text up here, this text right here on this map, just to kind of see if that gets picked up better or not. So we're going to give it a shot. I'll probably do this arrow here too, just to see what happens. Yeah, it seems to be making it lighter, which could kind of be a different added touch. I don't know. It could just make it a little bit more interesting. So there, I'm not sure if you can tell, but the arrow here is a little bit lighter colored now. So let's try the text and see what that looks like. Again, with this pyrography kit, you want to go slow, because in burning this in, it's becoming a little bit more permanent in here. Some of these letters are hard to make too, just because. And I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a little smoke coming off that too, which that could be burning the actual antique off. But and it also could be the case that my pyrography kit's a little bit too hot. So I can turn this down just a touch. Yeah, don't think this is the look I want her to go for, unfortunately. Okay. Just trying to stay in the lines too can be rather difficult. I'm not quite sure what this is doing. I mean, I can definitely feel that on the leather. It feels different than the parts that I already burnt in earlier and antiqued and put the leather balm on, but I guess feels a little bit smoother. This one feels a little bit more jagged. But just gonna keep going. So I think the lesson here is, if you're going to do pyrography, and maybe this is my own dumb fault and I did it wrong, but in watching other videos online of other guys doing this, it seemed to work a lot better for them. So I don't believe I skipped a step when I originally did this, but maybe I did. Again, starting off with casing the leather, then drawing the pattern on, tracing it on, and then swivel knife, using my swivel knife to get in the bigger parts, beveling that stuff on there, and then using the pyrography kit. After getting everything on there with the kit, then going back in and you know, making, yeah, this is getting a little bit harder to do. Going back in and after the pyrography kit, leather sheen to seal stuff in because I didn't want it to color too much. And I think I'm pretty pleased overall with like just the overall color of this piece, but I just wish that the lettering popped better. And maybe there's a better way to do that. If you know of a better way, let me know, because man, I would love for this to be able to look better. But I think, you know, you really kind of can't tell, but you can definitely hear the difference. You can 100% hear the difference, and if you're able to feel this, you'd feel the difference as well. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call this one a loss, just because unfortunately it's not looking the way I want it to look. So, and again, I just for reference, I used the medium brown antique from Phoebing's, and maybe I needed to go with a lighter color, but again, that's part of the whole learning process. So yeah, I hope if some of you have done this kind of stuff before or not, or maybe you're looking into getting into pyrography or leather working altogether, maybe this video was useful to you, maybe not. But again, just wanted to experiment with this and see exactly what worked. Clearly now I know what didn't work, so there's that. But yeah, so appreciate y'all's attention, appreciate the view. If you want me to do more stuff like this, just leave a like on this, drop a comment below, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. But again, my name's Shane, and I make leather working mistakes, so hopefully you don't have to. See you in the next one.